you given this project, given this work initially, so we are given this layout like this from the architect. First of all, you make sure you clean this. You remove all the unnecessary information. Though this one is cleaned, you remove all the unnecessary information. The good way to start would have been the cleaning process. But today, we're going to learn how to use these tools here. Yes, from the grassroots on how to use AutoCAD. So you're given this. What I'm doing here, I'm panning through the drawing. You can use if you're using a mouse. If you're using a mouse, you can use that dry. I don't know how it is called. That the scrolling thing in the mouse to zoom in and out. So you can use that. I believe Mr. Odega, we are together. You can use that. You zoom in and out within the drawing. I'm going to be sending in some drawings that we're going to be practicing from immediately after this session, so that in the next one we are really doing the practicals. Today it is most of introduction. So you be panning through your drawing like that. So we're seeing here, this is a supermarket, but we are having different floors. However, we want to go into that interpretation, much of the interpretation of the floors and whatsoever. But that's the first thing that you have to do. We're given a drawing from the architect, analyze the building. Is it a story building? If yes, what are the floors? Okay, then from there you would start your design very well. So today we're going to work on installing a lighting fixtures within this drawing you see here, so that it comes out the way you're seeing it here. These are our results. Having this, are we together? So I'll be sharing different templates that we shall be working with because any person to do good design, it's better when you have templates. You have where you're working from, you have symbols. If you're not really okay with the templates I'll be sharing, there are multiple templates on the internet in DWG format that you can use up to the standard you really feel like you serve the customer. Because in the end time, we are all learning this to do what? We are learning this so that it becomes productive to you. And of course, that is in the way of what? Making money, learning, achieving your academics. So the end goal is being productive from it. So for this project, we are having these templates. First of all, we have to really know what are the electrical equipment that we are using for the installation. And now for the lighting design, we all know that we have switches since we have the electrical background. As I've told you, you shouldn't worry. A person starting fresh with AutoCAD, you shouldn't worry about these templates. I'll be sharing some different templates that I'll be sharing with these symbols, just strictly symbols. Yeah. So, as I've said, you can see multiple symbols, but the most important thing is you describing the symbol. You see different symbols. Let me say for this one-way switch, you see different symbols. But the most important thing is you describing what your symbol means. So we're having these symbols. I believe since we have the electrical knowledge, we all know what an intermediate switch is and where it is applied. We know what a two-gang switch is one way, what a two-way switch is, two gangs. Like I believe we all know that. If we really don't know how it would be proper, we do what? We do make research, because personally, design engineer, you're going to invest most of the time of the project into research than what? Than any other thing. So we have different lightings, as you see, and where they applied. That is all research that you have to do before you start any plan. You like the surface mounted lead luminaire. Where is it applied? Surface mounted, because here the keyword is ceiling surface mounted. Where do you apply and when do you apply it? The linear lights, this one, this panel light. This panel light is strictly, if you've seen offices, these panel lights are used in different offices. You find them there. Yeah. I don't know if I can show you here, but I won't go deep into that because our target for this session is really knowing how to use AutoCAD. You can see spotlights. You see, you will find many different templates showing you different what? Symbols. So for that, you shouldn't be worried. Yeah, strip lights. So all that. So we're going to see how we are applying this onto our drawing. First of all, in lighting design, we consider, in most cases, the most crucial thing that you have to consider in lighting design is the uniform lighting. What do we mean by uniform lighting? In a way that you don't have shadows at one point. You have of the room, let me say in this, you would see this, this is our what? Parking floor. You would see the basement. You'd expect, yeah, you see, this is a basement. So we would expect what I mean by uniform lighting. Let me say this corner here. You can draw it. Let me say in this corner here. Here. You have more light than this other side. Yet it is the same what? Same space. So how do we work with that? Yes, how do we work with this? We're going to use these tools that you see here to come up with this. So we're going to light this space. First of all, in the lighting of the parking, you usually see these fluorescent lights. You would see these linear lights. They are most used in what? Parking spaces. If you to benchmark and go to these different buildings, you would see that we use this linear fluorescent. They have now modified. We no longer use much of the fluorescent design. Though this design was done long time. They are still on market. However, they are not efficient as the LED luminaires. So you can really go and search about different manufacturers. As I told you, designing here, you should dwell much into research, functionality, and everything, because at the end goal, you will have to design the circuit and knowing what is the current, what is the power consumed, which we are going to all do within this. So in this lighting design, we shall be using, for this parking yard, we shall be using what? The fluorescent light. As I've told you, they are usually applied within that space. So how are you going to light this? We're seeing, if you to analyze this, we're seeing that we are having these compartments here. These are columns. Are you seeing? This box here. It's a column. You can see this is also what? A column. We're having also here a column. So those are key points that you have to be observant of. I think these are key So based on the research that you do and on the lighting that you do, you can really know the spacing between the lights, between those luminaires that will give you the uniform lighting as you do what? You do need it. So in most cases, there's luminaires of 1,200, which is 1.2 meters. They are usually spaced at a spacing of about 4.5 to 5 meters apart. So in that way, as I've told you, any design that you're doing, make research. You can go on Google, you search about the what? The 120 millimeter linear LED, because now we are in LED what? LED technology, because it is more efficient than what? Than the rest. So you would see it's you would really see it's lumens, how it is distributing the light uniformly, which range, all that would give you the perspective on how you're going to space these lights, so that you have the uniform lighting and enough lighting based on the application of the room. So which that I leave to you, because those are considerations that you really do have to make research on whenever you're doing a design. Okay? Yeah. So today we're going to see how we're designing that room strictly. So there are some that follow the principle of height and what? The principle of the height of the room that you're lighting with a spacing, whereby they can specify that if the lighting of the room is, let me say, 3 meters high, you're going to space the lights by, let me say, 1.5 of that what? 3 meters. And if you do see 1.5 of that 3 meters, that is the 4.5 that I've told you. So we're going to, for this design, I'm going to consider the spacing of 4.5. So how am I going to achieve that? We do have, if you come to this draw tool, I think now we're together. If you come to this draw tool here, because now we are learning how to use AutoCAD. This draw tool, this draw, how do I say, is it a window draw? This draw command here, it has different features that you can draw from. I say line, you say a polyline, a circle, an arc. This arc, there are different ways you can draw it, a rectangle, a circle. So you all see that. So, but there is this part here, this symbol here, that is a construction line. And we're going to see how we apply a construction line. First of all, before I start drawing, the templates that I'll be sharing have layers. First of all, you have to know what these layers really mean. You're getting me? Though this drawing, I'm sorry, it is not much clean. There are these layers that you can see, which are not really necessary. And I'm going to show you the importance of working within what? Layers. Because all these are structural layers that you're seeing that are not really needed in our electrical part. We don't need these structural layers. We really need we really need electrical, like layers that you see, like elect small power, electrical feed. You getting me? Electrical text. Like, I'm going to share templates that really have what? Streamlined layers that we're going to be working with. So for this time, for the layer that we're going to be working with to show the connection between the lights, if you tap on this, so it is a layer called what? Wiring. You don't mind about the color of the layer. So first of all, you can, if you have an existing drawing like this one that has that layer, you can tap on this. Are you seeing how I've highlighted it? Then you see this command here, under layers, make current. In other words, now whatever we're going to draw from now, it's going to be in the layer of what? Wiring. Or you can tap this drop down there. You will see the look for the wiring what? Wiring. To me, it's what I use for the design. So that shows the wire. So that's what the first thing to do. So you come here. I told you we do have our construction line here. So select that construction line. Go to these corners of the what? The corners of our building that we're going to be lighting. To this, like this one. See, if we go to this, first of all, sorry. We do have these tools here down. We do have this tool here that is called the object span tool. When you select this tool, it helps you in you see here I've selected it. This tool helps you in selecting different points of a building. If you to see these points, we do have end points, mid points, center, geometric center, nodes. All these points, they help you in reading using AutoCAD easily. So there are these, let me disable some, which are not much essential for this. Yeah, so I've left the rest, you can see it. So these help me on aligning what I'm going to draw. So if I do select, and if I've selected this span tool here, and I come here to select my construction line that I'm going to use. You see, if I put here, I've selected the end point of that column. So if I continue like that, you can see how I've drawn the what? The line, though that is a wrong positioning of it. So let me use this corner, this other side here. So get your construction line here. Oh, sometimes this comes around because of this. Sometimes when you're during that construction line, there is that tendency whereby it refuses to align with what you want. But the easiest way, if you see the corners are filled, go to edges, make the edges. You see, now there it is showing you the nearest point. So this wall. So you see, now after that, you move along that what line, that wall that you really want to put that construction line. So it moves straight with what? With the wall. It moves straight with the wall. So you will see it has moved straight up to that point. So roughly that is like our wall there. So you can again select another construction line here. You draw for this wall here. Yes. Like that. It's not a wall here, but it's the extent of that what? Parking that we do really want to light. So you also select another one. Construction line. Here, I see this comes like this. So we are segmenting the what? The part that we do want to light out from the rest of the building. Then again, you select another one. Someone might ask, why don't I just place in the what? The bulbs randomly? No, these bulbs are to give us that uniform lighting, because if you go for a professional, like a more legit project, a big one, where you really have to share the AutoCAD, or you have to put in measurements, showing like the distance between the lighting, the distance from the wall. You know, there are those huge projects whereby you have to specify all that. If you really don't follow these procedures, you won't have a good output. So do that construction line also there. So that is like our box here that we really want to light. Are we together? So we have to measure the distances between, because we really want to know. We really want to know how we're going to space this. So me, when I'm doing this, I have my calc ever within my what? My interface. How do you select that calc to come here, that calculator? Just type in calc as if you are typing the word calculator. It comes here. Yeah? Then select it. So we do have our calculator here. So I can use this, using this here, this tool here. It's a measurement tool. So if you select it and you come to these corners here, that where you've drawn your lines, from that point there, to, though this is not really perfect, I had to draw another construction line here, but let me assume it ends this side to that point there. Pardon? Yes. Yes, I see someone. Yes, someone has said, yeah, is not seeing the calculator. Are you seeing my calculator? Do you mean my calculator or yours? Hassan, you're not seeing my calculator or yours? Okay, let me repeat this step once again. I believe everyone is having AutoCAD at your side. On his end, eh? Okay. It's not displaying at your end, eh? Do you have this command, do you have this command tab within your AutoCAD, Hassan?
Yes, I do. Okay. Good morning. The problem is that I'm just watching your presentation, but I don't know. I can't see the calc. You know, I don't know if other people are seeing it. That calc tab.
Did you do it today?
Yes, good morning. Good morning. I'm not seeing the calculator also. Reason being I've not opened my AutoCAD. I'm also watching what exactly similarly what that what you're saying.
must see your chat. By the settings, we might have muted them as a first. Okay, let us work on the issue of us not hearing you guys, but as we proceeding, I said we really need that. Okay, I'm going to get this.
Minus us. Hello, can you guys hear us? Awesome. Someone can send a reaction in the group, maybe with thumbs up if you're hearing me.
Yes, I'm
Okay. So, maybe if you say something, I see.
Trying to see the issue down in the Awesome.
Yes, please.
It's talking right now.
I am on, but we can proceed. We can proceed. We can proceed.
We see the new challenge after trouble is I'm not sharing that.
Let me just continue for this section that we need to work on that. Guys, we are sorry for today. We're going to continue with this session, but just kindly raise hand or keep telling again those comments because at our end we're not sharing and your time back. But continuing with this, I said a step to work with a calculator. If you do have your command tab, this one here. This one. Let me try to move it. Are you seeing this? Hassan, do you have that on in your interface? On your workspace? Yes. So if you do have this here, this command, type in calculator because it also makes things easier. So it brings out these tools that you really wanted to use here. So when you type in the calculator, you select it, it will come. Hassan, have you worked on what on that? Just kindly share a quick message. Yes, so that calculator, as an engineer in design, you really need a calculator at your site already. So on this calculator itself, it has tools. You can see these tools here. This one measures the distance between 2 points. This one measures the angle. Yes, this one measures the angle between 2 lines. Then this one shows the intersection of 2 lines. So what we do, we really want to measure the distances. So I would come here and measure this distance from this point here to this other point here. You see, this is the use of the span, this span, because it is going to highlight where you really want to end here. So it gives us that distance. So for that distance, since we really need the separation of what? Remember we are working with millimeters. Millimeters. Are we together? The distances. So we are seeing here. This is about 17.5 meters. But we want a separation of what? A separation of about 4.5 between 4.5 to 5 of these items. So along this line here. So what we do after getting that, you can divide by what? You can divide, as you see, you divide by the 4. You target what? You target separation. So that's, remember that's, we are in meters, so 4.5 is that. So what do we get? We get approximately 3.8, which is about what, here we are getting the number of lights. So which is about 4 lighting points. So those 4 lighting points, because if you have 4 lighting points, of course the separation will be a bit less than what? The 4.5 meters that we target. Because if you bring back this and you divide by the what? You divide by the 4 units that we decided. You see that the distance becomes smaller. But that is better because we're still in range. Remember, the problem would be if you have a huge what? A huge separation. If I had considered, because I had just 2 choices, if I consider the 3 lights, or I consider the what? The 4 lights. Because if I consider the 3 lights, you would see the separation exceeding the what? You see the separation exceeding 5 meters. So which is not really good. Yeah, you would see that if we exceed the 5 meters, you find that bulb will light both sides, but there are some points where we are having that more dimmer light than the points closer to the what? The points far away from it. In other words, we have some points that really don't have what? Enough light. So we don't achieve the principle of what? Uniform lighting, as I told you. But if we do have if we take the 4 uniform lights, you will see we have the distance of what? 4.3, which doesn't add because everywhere will be what? Will be light. So those are actual points that we really do need to know. So going with my 3 points altogether, I mean going with my 4 lighting units, you come back select this regular distance here. So we've chosen our 4 lights, but remember, those 4 lights also have to be what? Have to be centered, like offset from the wall, from the side of the wall. So what we do, we divide, since we've selected 4, you divide by 8. Why am I dividing by 8? I'm going to see the offset from the wall. Remember this distance we measured from wall to what? Let me say from extent to extent, from the extreme end to the extreme end. So we want to see where we're offsetting from this point to where our first what? But our lighting fixture would be. So you're dividing by 8 because you're going to get half of this distance, like we move away from here, and also I'll move away from here. So if I get that which is 2, so you copy that distance. Are we all following? If you're not following, kindly send in the text there. You can repeat it also. So you select, you copy that. Are we together? So I copy that. There is this tool here. This tool here. It's called an offset tool. As I told you, I'm getting an offset from the what? From the walls. Are we together? So if I do select that offset, it gives you here specify the offset distance or through or what. So that's why the reason why I copied this. So if I do paste that and press our enter, we have pasted this and I press enter, it brings that car. I think that car small that I'm rotating, that car small box that I'm rotating. So here it gives you. It shows cannot offset the object. In other words, it needs you to select what you are offsetting. So remember, I'm offsetting this construction line. So if I press it and I move it within, so you would see the first line where our first lighting power. And also offset this like that. You see? So we've got the points where what? The bulbs will be aligned away from the wall. So that's That's the first step. That's for only that side. Then you do the same for this side. Because we've started with our link, now also you do the same, you repeat the same procedure for the link, for the width. So again, you clear your calculator, get our measurement here. Now we are measuring from the measured the width. From this point here is our standard. Select that, because if you select it, the calculator will disappear. You come measure from this point there. From that point there.
Someone who has joined it to Subir. Yes, you're welcome to Subir. I was found that we already started, but you'll pick up from where we have stopped.
Sorry guys, I was trying to, and again, so as I told you, you're going to see to measure the what? The width. So you get this measurement tool here. You come, select from here. Then also come. Remember, we are measuring again. It's extreme end here. So we get our distance as that, 13 meters. Still the spacing is what? We want to achieve a spacing. Our target spacing is 4.5. So we divide still by 4, our 4.5. As remember, we are working in millimeters. So 4.5 is that into millimeters. So when you enter, this gives you 2.9. So you can't go for lighting fixtures of what? 2 lighting fixtures, because this is really close to what? To 3 fixtures. So again, you come select this. Since we've selected our 3 fixtures, so what would be our spacing? Our spacing would be about what? 4.3, which is fine. Are we together? Then to know the offset from the walls, you multiply this by 2. The 3 that you've got, multiply it by 2, which gives us a 6. As we did for the other, we had 4, we multiplied by 2. That's why we divided here by 8. So here we are dividing by what? By 6. So we get our offset from the walls, which is 2 meters, 2.19 meters. So you copy that, because here I'm selecting it and I'm Control C. I copy that, Control C. So then again, you come into your what? Offset, paste that. Are we together, Mr. Odega? I don't want to leave anyone behind. So you paste that distance, you press Enter. So until you see that small thing that I'm moving, yes. So you come and offset. You select this, offset from the extreme ends. Also here, you offset there. Yes. So this gives us the first what? First points where the what? The corners where our lighting, linear lights are going to be. Have you seen them? Yes, it gives us those points. So you come here into our templates that I will be sharing. You select that. Select it in the what? In the center. That's the essence, the use of this, having the object snap. It enables you select points at our centers. So you select that. You come and place. You place that point at the intersections. Today I've used the PC that I rarely use. That's why I'm having those difficulties. But I hope for the next session I'll be using mine. Sorry for that. But I'm trying to bring that. Actually, you see, it It brings that is at inter. You first wait and see that thing of intersection. It's where you put that. I think, but you try to rotate it so that it aligns with the what? With the grids that you decided to move with. Either this vertically or in that way, the way you think the grids we are working with, the construction lines. So you can select it, you come here, that's the use of the rotate part, select the center, then you rotate along that line like that. So I've placed my first what? Lumen. So you can copy that, move to the other corner. Also wait for. Yes, place it there. Hey, you see that command that I'm using here is called the copy selection command. When they go together, let me show you how I have done that. I've selected this, right-clicked, you come here. There is what? There is copy selection, that one. It enables you that even if you've selected that point, after placing it where you want to place it, let me start this point. I can continue pasting it on other what? Points, like that. All together. So you can also place it there. So those are our what? Extreme lines. But remember now we have to design also within what? These ones. All together. So what we do, we can use a line here to construct those joints. Like that. You come, and I would recommend you guys to really buy desktops for such, you know, desktops, because it is so tiresome to use a PC, a computer, a laptop, especially if it is a small what? You see the suffering I'm passing through here for a small screen, so you also waste a lot of time. So you put there. I'm trying to connect these lights now. Put there. Then you join there. So after joining that, there, you will no longer need these construction lines. Are you seeing them? You can highlight them like this. If you're highlighting from up downwards, you see this one only highlights the whole object. What do I mean? Let me see this word here. If I highlight it like this, so since I've highlighted the whole object, the whole word, it will be highlighted. But if I highlight from down towards up, everything that is going to be tapped is going to be highlighted. Regardless, even if I've not highlighted the whole of it, you can see like that. Everything is highlighted. So you want to delete this construction line. You can highlight like that. Everything, delete. Highlight here, delete. So we are having this connection. So what is remaining? Remember, you have to light all over these, because here I was just trying to get the extreme ends of lighting. So we really need to also light within this. So how do we proceed with the lighting? You come, you can select this. We want to have other lighting points within this. So remember, we had offsetted this. You can still use these calculations, or you can proceed. If you no longer have them in memory, you can proceed like this. So you can highlight like that thing, you select it. You do what? You select it, then you come to quick properties. It will bring you the length of it. This length here that you see, to bring you this length. So you can tap in it. Also, it has that option of having that calculator. So that length, remember, we had calculated here, and we got how many fixtures were there. The spacing, what remember, is not exceeding 4.5. So you would really know that if I continue to divide by, our target is not exceeding 4.5. So if I divide by, let me say, other two, I know, divide by 3. Why 3? I see it is a perfect one to give me the 4, that is 4 point, you see? So the 3 gives me the 4 point what? 4. Are we together? So meaning that this has to be, so you can close here, close. So meaning that this has to be, also that has come onto our memory here. 4.4. Anyway, it means that this has to be divided into 3 equal parts. So we have, I'm going to show you another command here. It's called the divide command. If I press the divide, you know, people are thinking that you just press in the lights. No, it takes time to come up with a good design. So if I press in the divide and I press enter, so it will tell you select the project. So it is this line that we've measured. You select it. Now it tells you to enter the number of segments that we are that we need. So we've seen from my calculation that I will really need what? 3. So if I do put the 3 and I enter, it is giving me, it will segment this. How? If I highlight this here. Sorry. I think that this point here, that is the node it has created, this one here. It is the nodes. So, of course, when you come to your object span here, you highlighted the nodes to be what? To be among the objects that you do need to span. So, it will give us a point that you would come and select. You copy this line here. You can copy selection at that point. You come looking for that node. You see, it is there. That is the first one. I believe the second one is around, as we have divided, it's around here. The second node is about here. Yeah, you see? So that's the second node. So yeah, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to create grids where we're going to be placing other lighting what? Fixtures. You see? So that was for this length. Now also for this one, you still select quick properties, you do the same. You come to this length here, you tap in it, you click in it, it brings this calculator thing. So if you come to that calculator thing, of course you can see this is already 8 meters, 8.7. You automatically know that I will just need to divide this by 2 to give us our distance that is less than what? The 4.5. So which gives us the 2.1 what? 9. So you don't need to, because already this is a what? This is 1 point. This is the line which has a midpoint. So this one, you don't need to use the divide thing again because it has a midpoint. Here we use the divide thing. Why? Because it's the distance was, if you put in the center, the distance will still be greater than what? 4.5 that we are targeting. So what we do here, since already they've seen dividing the line into 2 points, just come select this at its endpoint and bring it to the midpoint. So you can move all over the line until you see this point, midpoint. So you select. So I've created grids for which we're going to be placing our what? Our lights. But you can see this one here. Anyway, yeah, those are the lines. So you copy our lighting that we had selected, copy selection. You come, you see this point here. You can place there. You can come here, place there. As you observant, because if you do this grid and you find that it is, can't place a bulb here under column, but luckily these intersection points, there is none that is under the grid, so I'm under the column. So you put on those intersection points like that.
I should ask. I'm inquiring. Are these all these lighting points three phase, or you've
All
considered
intersection points. Yeah. So we've placed now our lights. However, this is not the wiring that really has to be. As you see, you can't connect all that like that. It is a lot of wastage. So you can maybe delete this. Or maybe delete those two wires like that. So you're having a lighting. You have how many bulbs that we do? Have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you measure the distances between these, you would see that we have achieved our what? We've achieved our target. We've achieved our target what? Our target this spacing, which is not exceeding what? 4.5. I think. So in that way, we have achieved uniform lighting. We've done a good design that has our what? Uniform lighting. I think 4.3 there. So we are having a range of between 4.2 to 4.5, which is a good thing that we've come with what? Uniform spacing. So that's how you do lighting in that way. So now the other thing, what is remaining of us is knowing where are we going to place. But you see, for this drawing, it wasn't cleaned well. Why? The next session we're going to learn how to clean. Today I was just giving you a feel of what we're doing. And today, what have we achieved today? We've learned the principle of uniform lighting. Before any doing lighting design, first know what are the types of lights that are going to apply in a given what? In a given room. First of all, what is the room used for? Is the room used for, is it a bedroom? Is it a sitting room? Is it a parking yard? What are the kind of lights that are used in such a room? Are we together? So here we are seeing the steps. If you, after knowing the kind of lights that you're using in that room, how are those lights? If you go on Google and search about that light, how is it lighting? What are the required minimum, maximum spacing for me to have that lighting at that point? Because all these lights, they have a specification. They have specification of what? Of how they can light the room. What extent can they light? So all those considerations, you bring them onto paper. And I've given you the flow, the calculations, and every step we've done on how to achieve that uniform lighting. We've learned now on the side of AutoCAD, we've learned tools like using how to use a construction line, this one here. And we've learned the offset tool. We've learned the calculator. We've learned how to draw a line. All here, how to draw a line. We've learned the copy. The copy what? The copy selection. If you highlight that this copy selection, we've learned, those are some of the things that we've learned today and we've achieved. So we've achieved the placement of what? But the good design requires you when everything that you're designing is visible. Because if you to print this, are you sure that this light is going to be seen? This one here, is it going to be obstructed by the car here? So the car is not a big deal in our drawing. So we can really clean off this car. Can highlight this car here. You can really clean it off because we are seeing our bulbs not being what? Seen. So you can highlight it like that. But you see, if I've highlighted it, also our bulbs are being what? Are being highlighted. So you can, that's the essence of working in layers. You can come, there is this tool called Quick Select. So you tap on that Quick Select tool, you come here by layer, you're selecting by what? You're applying to the current selection because there are multiple objects, you place multiple objects. You come here, you select by layer. So in my cleaning, as I told you, we are going back to shall see the cleaning process. In my cleaning, to me, those drawings, they are all on to what? The zero layer. So they are already, the value is equal to what? To 0. So if I select OK, you would see that it is only the color that is what? Being selected, and my bulb is left out. So if I delete off that, if I delete, you can see that now what? The bulbs are seen. And you know that if I print this, there is no excuse that the technician on ground didn't see this what? This bulb, you know? So all those are qualities of a good design. A clean drawing, a properly clean drawing. So meaning that it would be proper that we delete all these cars off because they are making our what? Our drawing not being seen. We are not seeing these bulbs because if you print, yes, they will appear, but we want a well-detailed what? A well-detailed drawing. So that's it. We've seen also that Quick Select the quality, good quality of a good design. So let us lastly learn how can we switch? How can we switch this what? How can we switch this this lighting layout? This lighting. So first of all, what is the quality of a good switching circuit? A good circuit. How is it switched? On and off. For a lighting, we expect switches to be on what? Entries and exits. That's the first consideration that we really have to look at. Exits and what? Exits and what? And entrances. So if you just see this side, there is no any exit here. This side, you can also see this. That's a walkway. I'm seeing you can also drive in from this other side. Are you seeing it? This point here, we are driving in also. In other words, the other, I don't know. I didn't do well of the analysis of this drawing before we started, because those are the fundamental things that we really needed to start with. But today, really, we wanted to learn how to use some of the tools of AutoCAD. That's why we did go much into the details, which I hope that we're going to do soon. Yeah. So let me go straight to this that is really complete. You can see this one, which is really complete. I've shown you the steps. I will come to these lighting fixtures, so you can also see this. So for this, you can see that we considered the room coming. Remember, for us coming with the other one, consider the room cutting from this point along this. Also, but the parking area was up to this other side. That's why you see that he achieved almost the same number of lights that we do have, just having this extended. You're getting me? All that, you've seen the calculation behind that. So now here, this is the proper wiring that you do. So you would see also separating these lights. to different switches is a proper way of switching. You getting me? So you see that what did he do? To switch this, we are having this. We're having these sockets, these switches. So these switches are along here at what? At this exit that goes into the staircases so that you can move out from the what? You can go up. You can move out from the basement. Yes. So he put a switch, then he said, switch for the basement lights, which are these ones. These are the basement lights that we are seeing. So you will see that he said to switch in the power room, which is this one. You see? Because our main essence of a design is really to show the position, and you leave all the wiring thing to the what? To the technician, because that is his role. Our role as a designer, you really have to show that this, as you see, people maybe if not designed before, you can't know the science behind. But all of these calculations we've done, you've seen the uniform lighting. So that is the engineering bit of it. That is the design bit of it. Not that you're going to just place the light the way it is. So you giving this to the technician, it is his role to wire. You just make sure you continue with the what? Communication of the drawing. So as you see, this is a communication that switch from the what? Switch for the basement lights. So these are the switches we are seeing for what? For a one-way gang here. Yeah, based on my what? On my key. Because if I go back to this key here, oh sorry, I didn't indicate that. But what if you to see this is the one gang, one way. If I put them two like this, it is a two gang, one way. I believe we all know, we understand these terms. If I put three, it would be a three gang, one way. If I put the third one, the fourth one, it will be a four gang what? One way. So you would see also it is good to isolate what? To isolate circuits like these switching circuits like that. It's a good quality of a good design that you isolate, because if I switch this alone here, and I switch, and at the same time I don't need lighting at this side. There are no, let me say, cars, vehicles that are going to park that side. There are, let me say it is a Sunday, you expect few people to come to office. So like to be energy efficient, you don't need really to light this other side. So you expect someone to come in and park closer this side. You getting me? Because there are few people that are going to use the parking. So if you put all these lights into one switch, you see, you put all these lights into one switch, meaning that even if one car is to come and use this parking here, this parking space, you have to light all this, which is energy consuming, and you're not efficient at all. So also you have to follow those principles as a designer. You're isolating. So you can see we isolated this area to one switch here. We isolate this area here to another switch. Are we together? So this is to another switch. This one here. And also another way why we are isolating these switches. Remember, we've specified our switch as a what? A 6 amps switch. It is a 6. It's not. Let me say it's not a 13 amps. It is a 6 amps, meaning that it only handles a maximum up to what? 6 amps. And remember, these were initially for this design. These were fluorescent lights, which are really they will draw much current from the what? Within the circuit, they will draw much current. So also those are some of the considerations you have to go deep into that I know. Let me say you're connecting this. Let us do some analysis on this pattern. for that. You're seeing how many bulbs are there. We're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bulbs. Are we together? Let me assume these bulbs are each is for fluorescent light. You can go online and search, but let me design based on what? Based on a lead bulb. So for a lead bulb for such a linear lumen of 1.2 meters, it is really about the least would be 10 watts, and the maximum we wouldn't exceed like about 15. You can go on Google and really search. Yeah, you have to keep on researching as you design it. A tree in here, that's your essence. Yeah, that's why you're not a technician. You're going to specify all these things for the technician, for him to go and just get that equipment the way you've specified it and install it. But all the design you've done it this side. So let me assume each bulb is, let me say, about 15 watts, which is too much. I know it is too much for a lead bulb, but let me assume a maximum of 15 watts. We've seen each is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've seen there are 8, not so? So 15 times 8 times 8. So that gives you 100 what? 20. This is power watts. Eh? So when you divide by 240, it gives you 0.5. Are we together? So this 0.5, remember, there are characteristics of bulbs, which is called inrush current. I told you to design, you must have the background of engineering in you. So if you're not familiar about inrush currents in the electrical equipment, please go do some reading about that. Any design engineer or even design draftsman, you must drill into research, be ready to face research. So there is a characteristic of inrush currents in bulbs. That inrush current can go up to 10 times the initial current. Like, in other words, what do I mean by inrush current? Let me demonstrate it here. You might have inrush current is in a way that as you switch on these lights at the start, you can see from this graph, the current at the start shoots. The current at the start shoots. What is it? The current at the start, it would shoot like that. In just some microseconds, I would say, very small seconds, yeah, it would shoot high the moment you switch on that circuit of light. Then, with time, it goes low. Actually, not with time. In the, you spare me. I'm just trying to demonstrate this here. With time, in that shortest time, it will move at that constant line, that constant what? Current. That constant current is this one that we've calculated, the 0.5. Are we together? But there is that first current, the inrush current that has happened at the start, which is literally, in most cases, if you go back and study different lights and whatever, that inrush current is 10 times, actually here I have not even demonstrated it well. It is 10 times this what? Normal operating current. So you will see here we've calculated, we've got the 0.5. But if I multiply by what? By the 10 I've told you, we are getting what? We are getting 5. We are getting 5. If I multiply by 10, sorry, I multiply by 10, we all know the math. We are getting 5. Are we together? That 5, we've specified these switches as what? These switches as what? 6 amps. Are you seeing the design where it is? You specify it as 6 amps, meaning that if you add on more bulbs, if you all put these bulbs in the basement, I'm giving you another reason why we separate it. If you put all these bulbs onto one switch like this, that switch won't be able to handle that inrush current. With time, with the shortest time, that switch will have to wear off. That switch will have problems. It won't work. It won't be sustainable. And then you have to provide solutions that are what? Sustainable. So all that is the design that I will be talking about. It is not that we look at design at only using AutoCAD. No. A design engineer, this is just a tool. The design engineering is behind those concepts that I'm trying to hit on. And to be well conversant with those, please keep researching. Keep researching so that we come with resilient designs, we come up with sustainable designs. You've seen, we've just done one room, but the concepts that have existed, the theoretical concepts, are more. So if you're not ready to do research, please adjust and keep on doing this. We come up with designs, because if you just give this drawing to a technician on the ground, he doesn't know. There are some that are already experienced. There are some with time that become experienced. But if you've given, let me say, fresh graduate, if you've given a fresh graduate this design, he will just implement the wiring. You won't know the science that you've done behind, which is all that. So for today's session, I believe we've learned a lot today. And next session, please come ready, be ready. We're going to learn how to clean. How to clean? What do I mean by cleaning? Coming up with this, because this is not what the architect gives you. And very soon I'll be sharing. Bill will be sharing some little templates that we're going to be working with. Feel free to download different templates that you can work with. Yeah. For today's session, that is what we've learned today. Please practice. Don't screenshot. Don't just look on. Please practice. Practice makes perfect. These things are not for screenshotting. Please go back, get a room, do lighting design. Next time, as we do the cleaning process, I would be appreciative if you guys present something that you've designed on the lighting. I know Bill can share. He will be sharing some drawings, some little drawings that shall be used for our practice. Everyone would. I expect you to come with such explanations that I've done, so that we know that yes, we have harmonized. At least someone has a starting point on the lighting design. Yes, go learn about different lighting fixtures, different lighting. Yeah, today we've looked at this linear bulb. Someone can learn about how these panel lights work. I've seen someone trying to design an office. These panel lights. Panel lights. Go learn such about those lighting designs. And to me, I know we can, with this introduction that I've done, next week, I know with practice, people will be able to come up with lighting designs. So please practice. Feel free to come in the next session with comments and where you've put difficulties so that we harmonize all that. Yeah. My name is Sivakun Akram from Jarib. Yes. So that is our session today. Have a nice day. Before you close, any comments, any questions, please feel free to send in comments.
Yeah, Engineer Dakota, you can send us some comments. Maybe in the text, since we have been having trouble with you, hearing from you. But I think I'm going to have a session with you so that we align on that issue of the microphone, so that next time we shall have shall be able to interact actually to hear ourselves. So in your free time, you're going to reach out to me, and I will try to have a session with you so that we align on the issue. But for now, you can share any queries in the text.